Hello everybody. So today this is going to be part one of hopefully a series of videos. And throughout this videos we're going to be making a project in Android Studios. Now before I go on and tell you about the project, a few words about myself. So this is my Twitter. Throughout the series, if you've got any questions or if you've got any suggestions as well, you can always find me on Twitter, as well as feel free to leave me a comment or anything you want, just to let me know how I'm doing. If you've got any suggestions on how I can improve my videos and my coding, please let me know as well. Or if you've got any projects that you're working on that you need help in, or if you just want me to tackle some sort of particular issue that you're stuck in, let me know as well. I'm a very new Android developer, so this is one of the reasons why I'm also doing this, because I feel like teaching is the best way of learning. And I started working on this project that I'm going to tell you about today, and it really absolutely killed me for a while. It was not like something that I'd done before in my other Android projects, and it took me a real while to get the hang of it. And back then when I was working on it, I'm still working on it actually, but when I was working on it, I promised myself that once I got the hang of this, or I had an idea what I was doing, I was definitely going to make a video about this, just to help people if they're stuck, just like I am dead in the water. As you can see, I've got lots of practice projects going on here: retrofit, and that's one of the libraries that we're going to be using today. Here's the page of it, and I'm still working on it. I'm not 100% with my understanding of Retrofit, but this was one of the libraries which we're going to be using throughout the project. It's a very powerful library, and that's part of the reason why I decided. It took me a long time to learn how to use this properly with respect to our project, and part of the reason why I decided to make this tutorial series, just in case people are struggling with Retrofit, and hopefully that can help them out as well. Um, so yeah, a little bit about the project in itself. This is a sample mock-up of the what the project should look like. This is what I had to start off. And as you can see, there's like a little search button at the top, and the user can input a tag name, and it's going to search the Instagram database, and it's going to return all the recent media, pictures and stuff that people have uploaded with respect to that tag, basically. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you what I have so far. Now it's not 100% complete. It's obviously not as pretty looking, but the focus is not on the design right now. It's on the implementation. So I'll show you what I have. I'm still working on it. It's still in progress. Shows you a little loading status bar here, and then it loads you and it takes you to the Instagram login page type situation. So here you're going to put in your information, password as well, and then when you click on login, it takes you to a different page, and here you can search for whatever you want. So for example, if you search for cars, it's going to find all of the media, the recent media which has been tagged on Instagram with cars, with hashtag cars. And I'm sorry, my emulator is working really slow, but it works very smoothly, obviously, in the phone. Or if you want to see another tag, let's see, I don't know, Kobe Bryant. He's my favorite basketball player, so. Yeah, so here you have some pictures regarding that. Now, as far as my own project is concerned, the one that I'm showing you right now, it's not 100%, because as you can see, I'm using a very ugly looking menu bar here, and it's not a custom toolbar, which is much more ideal. So throughout, as this tutorial series progresses and I continue to work on this project as well, I'm going to try and implement a custom toolbar. And if I don't get to it, then certainly you guys can take it on as a challenger. If you guys know how to make a custom toolbar, please let me know. Another issue that I've been struggling with is as you scroll down and it starts loading more images. Not like that. So what happens is once it starts to load more images, it jerks back up here to the top. And that is a bit of a problem as well. It looks ugly because that's not what you want. You want it to be smooth scrolling, and I don't know why my emulator is acting really weird right now, but you're just gonna have to trust me that it's working pretty smoothly. And so those are the two issues that I have to adjust, which I will probably do that by the end of this when this tutorial series ends. A third issue that I have yet to implement, but I know how to, is of course that as you can see, you might have noticed that after the first 20 pictures, it's pretty much loading the same first 20 pictures again. And instead of that, it should be loading not the same 20 pictures, but the next 20 pictures. I just haven't implemented that right now, but that's not something very hard to do, so that's not a huge problem. But that's kind of like what I have in mind. And yeah, so this is pretty much what we're going to be doing throughout this project, and there's a couple of steps which are involved. Initially we're going to be working on getting the authentication, which is the first activity that you saw, the main activity. And once you've got the authentication, then we'll be moving on to this page here, and then we'll be working on getting the actual data from Instagram and how we can adjust it and how we can extract whatever information that we need. One more feature which I'm probably going to end up adding, which I think is pretty cool, is by the time that you click this picture, it should pretty much full screen it or something like that, which I think would be pretty nice. And I also think that shouldn't be very difficult. So we'll also have that. We'll also add that in there just to spice things up a little bit. Yeah, so that's about all. I just want to once again say that I'm not like a professional developer. I'm still learning. So if you see me doing something a little bit redundant, don't just go easy on me. At the same time, please let me know how I can do it better, so I can try and be so I can just try and get a little better as well. And yeah, so in this first video, I pretty much just want to talk about the project. I'm going to be doing a little bit of coding, but not too much, but I still want to introduce the project. This is the library. Like I said, we'll be using Retrofit. This is what's going to be pretty much making all the calls, and it's the one that's going to be talking to the Instagram, and it's going to be getting the information every time we request something from Instagram, basically. And Instagram is then going to be replying to us in a format called JSON, and we'll see how we can pretty much take its replies and how we can adjust it. I'll just show you what a sample JSON reply might look like. I'm not really sure if I can find it quickly. Yeah, so a JSON replies might look something like this, except a little bit more uglier. The ones that we're going to be dealing with are going to be far worse, but I mean, it's going to be okay. It's not going to be too bad. And yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to try and we need to do some initial setups to make our applications. And to do that, the first thing we have to do is we have to go to the developer page for Instagram. So it's something like this, instagram.com/developer. I would advise you to go here, and you'll eventually end up reading all of the information here on the left as well. But the first thing you want to do is you want to click on Manage Clients, and ignore this for now. Click on Register a New Client, and we have to fill this information in, because what's going to happen is when you provide these details to Instagram, in return they're going to give you certain bits of information, and you need these information. Those things are going to define your client, your application, and that's how Instagram will know that it's your application which is contacting them for information. So for my application name, we'll just go with something like you can't use the word Instagram, so my RESTful API tutorial. That's good enough for now. You can choose whatever you want. Description, my application for YouTube. Alright. The company name, I'm not sure if that is required. The website URL might be required as well. But this one here, the valid redirect URI, is actually very important. So in here, what I'm going to do is, in fact, let's just go ahead and fill this. Well, we'll leave the company. Well, let's just write no company. and yeah, that sounds better. For the website URI, the one that I was using was this one. This is obviously my own website. And we're going to go ahead and copy this here in the URI as well, and I'm going to explain to you what this is. Now, this is a little bit important. First of all, Instagram requires you to have whatever address it has. It should have this HTTPS here. It can't be www.hnagaria.com. It doesn't work. So you need to have HTTPS protocol on it. Now, what this URI does is basically you don't need to have a website. Basically, is what I'm telling you. You can put google.com there. You can put yahoo.com. You could even put, for example, https://127.0.0.1. I believe that should also work. You can try this out as well. And this is just like a loopback address. This points to your computer, so you can always use that as well. I'm going to go ahead and stick to my own website, which is just a very simple website. But anyways, so the URI is basically going to be very helpful, and we're going to very quickly, just in the same video, we're going to see what it's used for. So I'm just going to just trust me on this one, and I'll explain to you very shortly what it's about. So for your contact email, you just go ahead and put in your own, and what am I doing? I'm going to put in my own, and we'll try to see if it lets me register. Submission error, please fill out all required fields. Which one did I forget? HTTPS. Okay. And privacy policy URL, what is that? Well, I'm not sure what that is, but I'll go ahead and just copy paste this. And let's try it again. That's funny. 127.0.0.1. Let's try this again. I'm not sure why it's not letting me register. Okay. Press enter to confirm. Please complete the CAPTCHA challenge. 262. Okay, so I'm not sure why it was causing me was just being a pain in the ass for no reason, but now once you've successfully done that, it will redirect you to this page, and this is the client that we just registered. So we've registered it, and now I told you that it's going to give us some information which is going to identify our application, and these are those bits and pieces of information. So it's given you a client ID, a client secret, and these information are just the ones that you put in. Now these bits and pieces of information are going to help identify your application to Instagram every time you make a request, and Instagram will know that it is in fact, you know, this person who is requesting this information. So yeah, now that we've got this information, we'll obviously be storing this information in our project. So I'm gonna go ahead and open a new project. And I'll call it my Instagram application. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to stick with API 14 for now, just on default. We'll stick with blank activity, and yeah, finish. And we'll just wait for it to create the project. And yeah, let's see. Yeah, if you guys think that this is going a little bit slow, feel free to bump up the speed to like 1.25. That's usually what I do when I'm listening to these type of tutorials. But yeah, hopefully I can help someone out. Yeah. Yeah, so what we'll be doing as soon as it loads up is we'll be saving this information, and I think that'll be all for our first tutorial, and we'll go from there, and we'll pick up from there. Um, all right, so here what we're going to do is we're going to save this information, and I'm going to go ahead and at the moment I'm just going to copy all of this. Now, there's a couple of ways of saving this information. You could obviously say it, since these are you're going to be storing them as strings. You could, I mean, one bad way of doing it is just to store it in every single activity and in every single file, but that's really not very professional. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and be as professional as I can be. So we're going to go ahead and make a new class. So you come over here on the left hand side, and if it's not already selected, you click on Android here, and you click on Java, and you click on this first one, and you see your main activity. So this is the one that's already created for you, the main class. Now what we're going to do is we're going to click on this package, and we're going to right click New Java Class, and we'll call it Constants. And this is obviously this is obvious because this class is going to contain everything which is, you know, constant, which won't be changing, and we'll pretty much be saving all the constants as we go along in our file, so we can pretty much then access, or we can have one place basically for storing all of our constant information. So at the moment I just copy pasted this information here and I commented out. If you're wondering how I did that, well, to paste it it's Control V, and to comment and uncomment it's Control and /. So that's how I did that. And now we need to go ahead and save this. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to make it public static final string, and the first bit of information we have is client ID, so I'm going to copy this here, and we're going to call it client ID. Of course, we will need this here, equals law, and we're going to go ahead and copy this, and we're going to put this in here. The next bit of information is the client secret, so I'll copy that, public static final string client secret, and go ahead and do that as well. Oops. Okay. If you see me struggling with the keyboard, it's because I'm using a Turkish keyboard right now and I'm not used to it at all. The website URL is not very important, but this one, like I said, is going to be important, and this is the point where I'll be explaining it to you, like I said before. Woohoo. Static final x string, and I'll go ahead and copy paste this in. Okay, and the support email is also not required. Now let me explain to you, I'll take this moment to explain to you why the redirect URI is important. So we come back here on this developer website, and I think this is going to be your best friend over the course of this tutorial, and we go on authentication here, and you can go ahead and read this, and what happens is you require this thing called an access token. So before you start requesting Instagram for data, you need an access token. So how do we get an access token? Well, there's two ways of doing it. There's this explicit way of doing it, and if you scroll down, there is this implicit way of doing it. All right, so we're going to be following this first one because this is just, I wouldn't say it's easier, but it's certainly better for you. So we're going to be using this way, and if you go, and once again I want you to go ahead and read this stuff, but I'm going to quickly summarize what's going on. So in step one, what we have to do is we have to direct the user to the authorization URL, and it gives you this code. So basically, as soon as you want to get the authorization, the first thing you want to do is you need to send the person to this URL, and that's the first step. I mean, when I ran this application, let me just go ahead and show it to you one more time. Come on. Yeah. Wow. Emulators. Yikes. Okay, so the first part, step 1 here, direct your user to the authorization URL. This is what's happening. So this little piece of code here, this URL is basically, yikes, not that. Let me minimize that again. Yeah, so this is what you're seeing over here, right? So as soon as your application opens, it's going to prompt the user to log in, right? And then you look at step 2, receive the redirect from Instagram. So what's going to happen is as soon as you log in and you press log in, it's going to redirect to the redirect URI that you provided. Now in my case, the redirect URI was this one. I'm going to go ahead and copy this as well. So what's going to happen is suddenly it's going to break from your application, and it's going to go to this redirect URI, which is obviously undesirable, right? I mean, how many times have you seen that happening where, for example, you try to log into an application and then it suddenly takes you to some other page? It never happens. So we're going to find a way to not do that. But why is that important? Is because what's going to happen is when it takes you to the redirect URI, it's going to have this little piece of code, this thing attached onto it. And this is what we need. We need this code. So what's going to happen is it says it's going to have your redirect URI. It's going to lead to that redirect URI that you defined earlier, but then it's going to have this little piece of information attached to it, which is what we need to extract. So it's going to look like something like this. For example, if this is my redirect URI, then it's going to have that little thing attached to it, where the code is going to be some number. And we will have to find a way to get this code. Okay? Once we've got this code, we will now have to use this code in this step, in the next step. So in step 3, we have to request for, voila, the access token. So to get the access token, you need the client ID, which we have here. You need the client secret, which we also have here. You need the grant type, which is given here as authorization code, so we also have that. We need the redirect URI, which we have here. And lastly, we need the code that we just received. Okay, so once we've got these 5 pieces of information, we can put them in like a little package and we can send them back to Instagram, and in return, Instagram will return to us with this piece of JSON data. So this JSON data, as you can see, includes the access token, which is what we need for future calls, and then it has information about the user, such as ID, username, full name, picture, so on and so forth. So this is pretty much what's going to be happening in the first part of the application, as you can see here. After you log in, and obviously all of this is going to be happening in the background, so you as the user would never see it. But we as programmers, well, we have to deal with it. So all of this is going to be happening in the background, and then very neatly when you see the next page where you'll be making requests, so every time a user that's using your application, well, every time he makes that request for information regarding a tag, he's going to be using his own specific access token, and that's how Instagram will be, that's how there's going to be like a back and forth going on between your application and Instagram. So I think it's already gone on very long. It's been a lengthy introduction, but yeah, just very quickly, like I said, I'm relatively new, so I'm going to try my best. I'm also new at making these videos, but I do want to try and help some people out because, my god, I had such a hard time getting started with Retrofit and generally dealing with RESTful web APIs. So even if you're looking to deal with something like Twitter or Facebook, getting data from there, maybe Google Maps or something like that, I would imagine this tutorial will be helpful for you because, like I noticed, for example, when I tried dealing with Twitter API as well, the procedure is pretty much very similar. And you need to be able to understand all of this information and how to use Retrofit, which is going to really make your life a lot more easier in getting the data. So I'm going to stop this video here, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video. If you like what you see, or if you think that this is helpful for you, please feel free to drop a comment or a like or a subscribe. I would really appreciate that. If you have any suggestions for me, Also, please let me know, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Bye.